All right, let's break down India's 2026-27 union budget. Now, this isn't just about a bunch of big, scary numbers. Nope. This is about the country's financial game plan and what it actually means for the economy and, for you. So let's jump right in. So, at the very heart of this budget, we've got a really powerful idea from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman: three core duties, or kartavyas. You can think of this as the DNA for the entire budget. Every single rupee spent, every policy decision made, it's all guided by this framework. So, what are these three duties? Let's find out. Here's the game plan for how we're going to unpack all this. First, we'll look at the big picture, the economic blueprint. Then we'll dive into each of those three duties: fueling growth, building capacity, and making sure growth is inclusive. After that, we get to the part you're probably waiting for, the new tax rules. And then we'll zoom out to see how the numbers really stack up. Okay, let's get straight into that blueprint. The whole budget is basically built on three foundational pillars that are going to support India's entire economic strategy for the year ahead. So what are these three big ideas? Well, first, it's about hitting the accelerator on economic growth. Second, it's about empowering people, building up their skills and capacity. And third, and this is a big one, it's making sure that this growth actually reaches everyone, every family, every community. So now, let's follow the money and see how these ideas actually get funded. First up, duty number one, fueling growth. This is where the government really steps on the gas, pouring some serious money into infrastructure and key sectors to get that economic engine roaring. And they are not kidding around. They're backing this up with a huge number: 12.2 lakh crore rupees. This is what's called public capital expenditure, or CapEx. But all that really means is it's the money being invested in building the future. We're talking new highways, modern ports, high-speed railways, the whole nine yards. But here's the thing that's really telling. Just look at this chart. This isn't some one-off spending spree. What you're seeing here is a steady, deliberate increase in this kind of investment, year after year. And that signals a real long-term commitment to building a stronger, more connected India. So the big question is, where is all this money going? Well, it's being channeled into some real game-changing projects. We've got a 10,000 crore rupee injection into the biopharma sector, another 10,000 crores to create what they're calling champion small and medium businesses, plus 7 new high-speed rail corridors, and a huge push to boost container manufacturing right here at home. Let's just zoom in on that biopharma Shakti initiative for a second. This is a huge 10,000 crore rupee 5-year mission to make India a global powerhouse for advanced medicines. The goal here is to create a complete ecosystem for making these cutting-edge drugs, which could be absolutely massive for both our healthcare and our economy. All right, so we've talked about building infrastructure. Now let's shift gears to building people. Duty number 2 is all about empowering India's greatest asset, its citizens. This is all about investing directly in skills, in health, and in education to get everyone ready for the future. And these aren't just vague plans. We're talking about setting up creative tech labs in thousands of schools for the next generation of digital creators, partnering with top business schools to upskill tourist guides, building a girls' hostel in every single district to support women in science and tech, and launching a whole new mission to transform India into a major sporting nation. It's pretty ambitious. And the focus on healthcare is crystal clear. The plan isn't just to build more hospitals. It's about building a whole robust healthcare ecosystem. That means adding 100,000 new health professionals to the workforce, creating new centers for traditional Indian medicine, and even setting up 5 regional medical hubs to make India a destination for medical tourism. It's a really comprehensive strategy. And that brings us perfectly to the third and final duty: inclusion. I mean, what's the point of all this economic growth if it doesn't lift everybody up, right? This part of the budget is all about making sure the benefits of progress reach every single person, with a real focus on farmers, on regional development, and on our most vulnerable communities. A really cool piece of this is a new tech platform for farmers called Bharat Vistar. Just imagine a super smart AI-powered assistant in every farmer's pocket, speaking their local language, giving them customized advice on everything from weather to crop prices. The whole idea is to empower farmers with data to boost their yields and, of course, their incomes. Inclusion also means connecting every region to the growth story. So we're seeing these really targeted investments, like the East Coast Industrial Corridor to create jobs, developing new tourism spots in the eastern states, and even a new National Mental Health Institute in the north to improve access to care. It's really about making sure no quarter of the country gets left behind. Okay, so we've seen where all the money is being spent on growth, people, and inclusion. But that's only half the story, isn't it? The big question is, where does all this money actually come from? And probably more importantly for you, how do the budget's tax proposals affect your wallet? Let's dive into the other side of the equation, the new tax rules. This is where the budget gets pretty personal for a lot of us. So if you're planning an international trip anytime soon, listen up, because this one's for you. The government is simplifying the tax on overseas tour packages. They're getting rid of the old, kind of confusing system and replacing it with a simple, flat 2% tax. That should make booking your next vacation just a little bit easier. Here are the other key tax changes you should know about. If you're importing stuff for personal use, good news, you'll pay less in customs duty. For the IT sector, they're trying to simplify some complex rules. If you trade in the stock market, you'll see a small bump in the tax on futures. And looking ahead, get ready for a brand new, simplified Income Tax Act coming in 2026. Okay, so now that we've looked at the policies and the taxes, let's zoom all the way out and look at the big picture, the final tally of the nation's finances. This is it, the whole shebang. On one side, you have the government's total income, or receipts, at 53.47 lakh crore rupees. And on the other side, you have its total spending, or expenditure, at the exact same amount. So how do they balance the books? Well, that's where this next number comes in. That gap between income and spending is called the fiscal deficit. It's a number that economists watch like a hawk. The government's aiming for a deficit of 4.3% of GDP. Now, that's a small step down from last year, but it's an important one. It signals a commitment to getting the country's finances in order, which is absolutely crucial for long-term economic stability. So, what's the bottom line here? This is a budget that's making some pretty big bets on infrastructure, on people, and on inclusion. It's a high-stakes balancing act between pure ambition and making sure everyone's included. The ultimate question really is whether this is the right recipe to steer India towards becoming a developed nation. The plan's on the table, but the real test, well, that will be in the execution.